right. I think I'm on. God, YouTube is acting up again, so just to warn you. I don't know what they're doing, but hurry up and figure it out. Alright, so last week on Watercolor Tuesday we did some cute little snowman here, and it was a pattern from the book Christmas Time Between the Vines Volume 2 by Jamie Mills Price. This book is no longer in print, but I do have printables for this one and quite a few other ones on my membership. And if you're interested in the membership, if you just want the printables, it's $3 a month and you get all of the back printables. And if you can't see the join button down below the screen on YouTube, you're probably on iPhone or iPad, something like that. You can go to Patreon, and it's under Kathy Arbor, and you can join there. The same material that's on YouTube is also on Patreon. So I set up the Patreon because of the problem with iPhones and stuff. Hey Dar, good to see you. So this was fun last week, and I didn't do any too much after I finished. And you can paint it any way you want. There are a few of you that did this and did it in your own style, and they all turned out fantastic. And thanks for sharing with me, because I love to see what you guys do. This was on the Thursday, I believe. Last Thursday? No, it wasn't. What did I do last Thursday? I can't remember. Oh, I did the leaf, the big leaf. It's not finished yet. I just got busy with company, so I'll probably finish that on a video and not a stream, just because there's a lot of drying time involved in that. But I will show you my process. And this was on the 9th we did this, and this is one of the patterns also in that book, and it's also available on the membership, I believe. So I thought, well, it's almost Christmas time. Only a few more sleeps, as the kids would say. So I found this old, it's a very old Christmas drawing from a card. And it's a royalty-free one. And I thought it would be kind of cool to do this one. So you could still use this for a winter landscape if you wanted to. Where did I put my book? Oh, there it is. And just omit the presents and the wreath on the door. You could put something else there in place. You don't have to put the tree in the window. But I thought it was really cute. And this one will be fairly easy to do too. So beginner easy, I would say. I'm not going to do a lot of layers in this one. And I might do some pen work. We'll see what I like about it and what I want to do. I never know. So that was done on the 7th. That was cute. There's a traceable for that one too. So I already traced out, I don't know if you can see that, it's very light. I didn't want it too dark, but I basically traced, or not traced, I drew out this into a smaller form over here. So this is going to be my colors that I'm going to put in this area, so I want to keep this off to the side just so I can see it. Or do you guys want to do it too while I'm doing it, and I can keep it on camera if you want. I just thought it would be a fairly easy one to do. Hey, Janet. Okay. Are you going to paint along, Janet? Draw it up? If you hear any noises, it's my son's dog's down here with me because he's had to work a little later, so I have to keep an eye on her. She's only 7 months old, so she can't be trusted by herself with the other dogs. She gets a little carried away. She's bigger than them now. I'm going to do it tomorrow so I can screenshot it. Okay, yeah, screenshot it. So I've got a few of my watercolor brushes here. I've got a number 8 silver black velvet and a couple spotters from yes, actually no, that's not spotter. This is a Rosemary and Company spotter. I believe, does it have a number on it? I think it's a 0. And this is a Escada number 2. Oh, you got another project going on? I hope it's fun. So, as you know, watercolor typically is done light to dark. So that's how I'm going to approach this too. And there is a bit of white in this, like the door is a little bit on the white side, which I will keep. And some of the, oh, she's behind the couch. Just keeping an eye on the dog. Some of the snow on the top of this little, looks like a vine of some sort, maybe could be anything. The snow is more or less blue and purple, with a little bit of white showing through. Oh, hold on. Hey, we'll get out of there. Go. Get. Go. Go. There you go. Dogs. Now she's stuck. Why are you back there, you goofball? Here. Go. Go. Get. Come on. No, this way. Oh. Go. Get. Young dog. Go lay down. Lay down. Sorry, she was stuck behind the couch and couldn't get out. Ugh. Okay. Sorry. Hi, Dorothy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with probably a light color in this brick pattern here. And I think I'm going to clean my palette because I want it fairly, not too muddied. It could be muddied actually, if I think about it. Yeah, maybe I will. I'll leave it. Show you what I do. Where did I put my sprayer? Oh, there it is. I'm just wetting my paints in the palette. So I thought this would be kind of cute. So it's more or less umbers, kind of going into your grays. There's all kinds of colors. So I'm just gonna, this is sketchbook paper. And I'm not too worried about going over the some of the areas that have the snow and leaves in it. And it can be different shades too, because it's kind of mottled looking. So if you want to add a little bit more red in there, you can do that. It's brick. Let's see. This here, I don't want to get the wood part of the door though a different color. So I'm going to kind of stay away from the areas that are going to be really bright. So this around the light has some bright yellow, so I'm going to put that in right now. And a little bit up here, because it would be casting quite a few colors in the snow and on the brick. Go. Stop getting into stuff. Sorry guys, my son will be here shortly. It's just, she's into everything. Puppy time. She's cute. It's a darn good thing she's cute. That's all I gotta say. I am not the same I was when I had my other dogs as puppies. Don't have the patience anymore. Thank goodness it's my son's dog. There we go. And down here a little bit. And there's also kind of dark brick part in the snow here. So you can kind of add that there. And maybe put some more different colors in here. This is still wet, but I haven't added a lot of color per se. So now where the little divides between the brick, they can be put in as this is a very loose rendition too, so don't worry if it's not precise like a real intricate drawing. It's not meant to be. It's going to be a very loose type of painting. This is why I like doing them in sketchbooks, because it stops you from getting too detailed. Well, that's not too bad. A little bit darker in here. I'm just going to put a few lines here, and maybe in different colors. It doesn't have to be all the same. We'll have a bit of a shadow also around some of this vine here, so you can put that in. So I'm just using my palette that I had for another painting, so it's more or less muddied, but this seems to be working for this particular painting of brick, which is cool. So experiment. I don't know about you, but I hate wasting paint, and if I can use it, I will. Down the side. There. And when you paint on wet, even if the sketchbook, it blurs out any lines, which is kind of nice for this technique. All right. Oh, you're going to try that one? Awesome. It's a fun one. I really liked it. Okay, so now I'm going to try and put a little bit of really dark green. It's almost a black. It's so dark. So I have praline green, and it's a really, really dark green. It's a beautiful green. That's more of a shadow green. So that's what I'm going to use for some of the leaves here. Now I want it fairly thick, and I'm going to basically be doing around the snow. So I have this picture here, but you don't have to go exactly to it. So let's, we're going to add some other colors of green in it too. So don't totally cover it in this color, because we'll add some light green too. And that'll change up how it looks. Don't forget there's snow. So I'm just doing a few of the areas. We can always go back and paint more of the brick color in too. There's quite a bit of dark under here, just a few patches peeking through the snow. So we can put those in. And if you put too much in, we could always gouache it too and put the snow back in. So don't worry if you get a little too overzealous about it. It's easy to do. And we may as well do this side too of the trees, and most of it is on the left side, but we do have some. Actually, I think I'll put a little bit of water on this one here, and we'll do a little bit of wet into wet. Just throwing some of this color in. Remember to leave some areas that aren't as dark. And we can also take out with your brush too. If you have gouache, you don't need to get all the colors, because you can always use the white and color the gouache. So remember that. Okay, so I'm going to do all of the bush areas. And she'll probably bark now that you're here. Okay. Now I'm going to add some yellow to that mix, just to change the color. Throw some of that in. She's going nuts. She's a fairly quiet dog though, so I'm glad about that. Alright, I'm going to add some gouache to this too. more of the lighter colors on the right side of this. Same with here, just dab. Probably have to add a little bit of gouache on these ones because I put too much, but that's fine. And just a few in the, there's not a lot in this area. It's more or less in the bush that you see this color of green. I think because it's more or less shadowed, so you're not seeing that bright green as much. But you can put a few dabs in here and there. Hey Lena, good to see you. Isn't it pretty? It's an old Christmas card from the 30s, 40s. Alright, and let's see. Let's do the inside of the windows here. It's kind of an orange color. It's a fairly warm. Let's get some yellow here. This is Winsor Newton yellow. And we'll add a little bit of scarlet red maybe. Orange it up. And has a little bit of yellow. Actually, I think I'm going to wet the areas first with my brush here. I'm going to try and stay out of those panes, like the grilling, because those are white. But if I can't, that's okay. I'll just use gouache. Now my brush already had, or the water's got yellow in it anyway, so it's kind of working to my advantage. And there's curtains in the window, so it's a little more orange on the top part into the red, almost like fiery. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Same with up here, it's a little more on the orangey red side. And then in here too. So how's everybody doing with their Christmas shopping and stuff? Are you all done, or you're panicking? I got my Christmas shopping done. I'm glad I did, because things are crazy here in Canada right now. Now I'm not going to put a Christmas tree in this window. There is one in there, but I'm not going to put it in. I think I'm just going to leave it. And I'm going to add a little bit of red to this now. And just dab in the very top sections. It's still wet, so I'm able to let it seep in. And I've got some white areas in the windows, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to put a little bit more bright yellow in this light here, though. And just walk it out a little bit into the brick a little more. All right. Now there's also a little mail slot right here. In the old doors, that's what we used to have, is mail slots. So the mailman could just slip it in the door. And just a little bit of that reddish color. Just in there a little bit. And we'll probably highlight some areas too. And it also has a door knocker. I'm just going to put in some of that goldish color. And the pots they look to be clay pots, so I'm going to make a clay color and then dirty it up. Clay pots are never pristine looking, especially if they've been outside for a while. So I'm just going to color these in with a base coat, and I'm going to make sure I leave space on the bottom for snow. And then dirty them up a little. They'll be shaded slightly. They'll even have a little bit of green on them. Let's see. The moss will be growing on them a little bit. Okay, we'll let them dry. We did our shopping yesterday and today, so I hope that I don't have to go out one more stores until awesome. Yeah, I was talking to Lena earlier, and I said, you know, when you get older, you get lazier. I don't want to go out, and I don't want to do a bunch of cooking anymore. That's just how I feel. And I'm older now, so I got that right. I can do that. Alright, so now the snow itself, I'll show you this, I'll bring it up to the camera, is kind of purple and blue. Hopefully you can see that. And that's what I'm going to use. So a mix of either French ultramarine, cobalt, or you could even use a combination of a little bit of dioxazine purple in there. Mix it up. I'm going to have to move an area so I can, let's see. I guess I could take this out. Yeah, they are. And you can't go wrong with them. No one's going to say, where'd you get that pot? That doesn't look like that. Do whatever you want. It's your pot. They're not going to come and say it's not like that. So there's little footprints, so you want it fairly watered down when you do this. So you got to think of shadows. Where would shadows be? So this pot here would have some shadows. And then you just kind of dip and throw some in here and there. There's a little bit of a sidewalk here. Right in here, shadow. And then on the plants here themselves, there will be shadows. Mostly on the bottom parts on one side. Or on the bottom parts of multi-layered things like this one here. Don't cover all the white up. Just kind of play with it. Again, snow you can't go wrong with snow. There's so many ways of doing snow. Just make sure you do most of the shadows on the same side all over the place. So we've got lots of layers of different snow here. This is on a vine, so there would be all kinds of depth in the snow here. So you just add that. We can also add, if you think you put too much on, you can take away some. If you're using watercolor paper especially, you can take away those by just using a damp, clean brush. And then there's just not one layer, there's multiple layers when it comes to snow. So you'll see some really dark areas too. So you might have to make a little bit more of those colors, maybe a little thicker with pigment. Like in the shoes here, parts of those prints would be very dark. Some more along the edge here, steps, and then a little bit lighter with more blue maybe. Swish some around. Have a little bit more in here along the steps. The steps would be a little darker on the edge. Snow on there. That. We'll let that dry. I'm going to take a little bit more of this blue. Now I'm going to use that same blue in the door. So the shadows of the door, because it's a white door, we'll put shadows in this color also. So we're going to see it in the frame on the top part because it's shadowed by the brick. And the frame of the door would also have shadow. And I think that's going to be shadowed a little bit by the tree here and along the bottom of the post flap. You don't have to do all of the frame. You can just do bits too. You don't have to go all the way down. Usually the corners are a little darker. And let's see. This is a recessed panel door, so pick the top part to have your shadow cast, and down one side usually. Let's do this side. Since I've already done the left side of my shrubs, I'm going to keep the same shadow area. Bottom of the door would be much darker. I might even do some really dark in here. And hey, Devin. All right. And then we have really bright red ribbon. There's not a lot of highlight or anything on it, so I'm just going to paint it red because it's so small. If you want to get more detailed, you can add some. I think I'll make it a little wider. That. And then there's some little bobble things on it, I think, of some sort. So I'm just going to put a few, because it's such a dark color, it's going to go over top of this green. It's not going to be bright, bright, but it'll work. Okay. And the drapes are kind of a reddish color too. So I'm going to take the same red, but mix it in with this palette color here. Try and stay away from the rill. Because I want that to show. But we can always go over it with gouache if you do happen to go over it. Or if you're a purist, you could have just had some Frisket. There. I think there's some things in here too. I'm going to throw in a couple, and there was some in here too. Lights maybe? I don't know. And there's some little sprigs of grass, I guess. So I'm just going to throw a few here and there. That. And then a little bit of brown for the trunk of this topiary tree. Can go in there. And then I'll put a little bit more shadows on the maybe I could use some of this brown here. Do a little bit more shadowing underneath the pot rim. Maybe some green. More. And then I'm going to take, I think I will put a little bit of marker, or not marker, pen work in here too. And some gouache. I've got my gouache here. But let's dry this first. I have to get got all my stuff from the painting over here. All right. Rhonda, nuts. You just watch the replay. This is an easy one. I'll put the picture up to the camera. You can take a screenshot if you want. And just print it out. Don't you love the sound of crinkly paper? I love that. Okay, so here's if you want to take a screenshot of that, you can. Wait a minute, I'll get it all in there. There. Okay, so I have some of this poster paint. It's a kind of a gouache. It's what they used before gouache. But I like this one. So I'm going to take a smaller brush. Now I can go back in and put in some of these white areas in the wreath that I covered up, or add wherever you want. That. Just go over some areas where you think you took too much color into it. Bushes usually have layers. So just dab and dot. This would have a little more white on one side than the other side. Same with these. So you can just put a few speckles in there. You can also, if you find you need more maybe color, you could also color this. And it would give you a stronger, say yellow if you wanted yellow. See, I forgot there's snow in the pot too. So I can actually just paint this in, and then once it's dry, do a quick wash over top. That will work. And this one here, a little more on the layers. So some on the sill. You can also cover your pencil lines with this. And a little bit on the tops of those window, the brick that goes around the window. Just a bit. Don't make a clean line when you're doing that. And the lamp post, actually I'm going to paint the lamp post first. Let's see. I got this dark color. I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine to that green color. And some umber, darken it. And then I'm just gonna make that outline basically. It's probably a wrought iron coach light, I guess they used to call them. A little ball on the top. Most of this will be covered anyways with the white. I'm going to put a little shadow on that. And under this door here, or not door, the little flap. These can be a little darker. Lots of shadow in there, so you wouldn't necessarily see all of the brick, but there is snow here too. So I'm going to put a little bit of shadow on. I think it's a more or less a rounded stoop. So just put that in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of this white on the very top areas of the where the snow would be sitting. Bright and white. I guess they haven't cleaned their walkway. And around here, just a little bit uneven, because the snow would be uneven from wind or whatever. And a little bit in here. Dab. Snow is very, very depending on how the wind's blowing, can kind of dry brush areas. Up here, I think it's probably a little bit going the opposite direction, because they would have been shoveling. I'm going to take a little blue. Put some in there. And then just, oh, too much water on my brush. Very thin line of that darker blue, just in certain areas of the left side. That'll show the footprint in the snow. Now if you have any shadows, you want to add a little bit of that blue in there too, like the really dark shadows. So you might have some underneath where the snow is, and maybe in here under the bush along the edge of it. I'm going to put a little bit in there, and in here. I'm going to just dab it though. And just a few touch-ups in that white that I did. I'm just going to throw a little bit of this blue on the bottoms of some of that white that I put on. Maybe in here too. And a few here in this. Where it's would be dark. And along the bottom of this windowsill a little bit. Just think of shadow. Where would that shadow be? There's a door knocker shadow also. And down around here, under the wreath, there's a shadow cast. Just a little bit of like that. And I may as well make the inner parts of that door. It's a, yeah, looks like a recessed panel door. The old doors that they used to have. There's a, I don't have to put it all in, but some of it. I think that needs to be a little darker. I didn't put the gifts in. You can put gifts in if you want, or if you have even sticker gifts, you could put those on. I'm gonna put the white on the top of the light now. Like that. Hey, Shelly. And I guess I should put some of that white down on, let's see. This is gouache I'm using. Just to cover some of those pencil lines. I can still go over them and color them up again if they're too bright. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to take some more of that grungy color and add a little bit more to this. Okay. Now, just looking at my shadows on the tree, I think I'm going to put a little bit more, probably maybe even use that purple. Let's see what how it works. I'm going to add a little bit of that funky color to it. Just some darker areas in that shadowed area of the so I can still see my wall, how the bricks are, but it gives it a little bit more of a shadowed look. So, and it's really shadowed down here under that sill. So you kind of have to go around and touch up things. So let's do a little bit more along here. And maybe some of this color. Just play with it until you get it the way you want it. I'm going to just add a little bit more of that brownish reddish color in some areas to give it a little bit more interest in the brick. Merry Christmas, Brenda. And then a little bit of wash in the light from the glare of the light. And just might have just a little bit of white out, I guess you could. And you kind of have to play with it a little bit. It's kind of scary, but bring it out a little bit with some water. Alright, let's see. Let's dry that and see what else we can do with it. Do you have poster paints, Lena? I like them. I think they're cool. I'm going to put a little bit more layering on the top part here. I think I put too much. Need a little bit more. A little more contrast in there. Same with here, just on the tops of those white areas. There, I think that's good. Oh, thanks, Brenda. That's sweet of you. Just a little bit of, let's do, I think I'm just going to take a gray pencil instead of an actual marker. fairly dark gray. Let's see. I don't want black, so maybe here's a good one. Sharpen it. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go along the edge of this pane here. Just on the one side. And that way, just gives it a little bit more definition. And the same with this over here, just a bit, same side. Oh, actually I did the opposite side. Oh well. Oh well. That's the way it goes. And a little bit of a line there. And under the door. Like that. Down the side, just a smidge. And some of these are a little bit darker. Now, there's presents in front of it, this one, but I'm not going to put them in here. Main frame. That, and maybe a little bit in the, just going to use same gray, just color around where you think there'd be a little bit of shadow, like underneath. More detail in there. Maybe a little bit darker. Like that. Some finer marks on there. There. I think that's good. There. I think I'm done. So there we go. Get my screenshot, I guess. I think that turned out cool. So as you can see, there's no perfect drawing you have to do in here. These lines for the doors and windows are absolutely not straight, but that's what I like about urban sketching. is you don't have to have perfect lines. It's all in what you like. So give it a try. This is just sketchbook paper. So if you find yourself, if you're one to really keep working on a specific area, you might find it helpful to try this on sketchbook paper, because the sketchbook paper will not allow you to do that. So it's more or less 1-2 strokes and then you have to dry it. Whereas watercolor paper, it's very easy to overwork it. So give it a try on different ones. Also, I've been watching some videos on watercolor paper, and I've seen a few people, watercolor artists, that are now stating that mixed media paper is just as good as hot press arches. So I'm going to try that and see what I think about it. And if that's the case, that would be awesome, because it's so much cheaper, and then you wouldn't be scared on practicing your watercolor. Because I know everybody says arches is the best and da 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 da, but it's expensive. So if you want to really try watercolor and you're hesitant because of the price of the watercolor paper, give mixed media a try. That's what I'm going to do next week, is I'm going to try the mixed media paper and see what I think about it. So let me know what you think if you've tried it. Leave a comment down below and let me know. I'd like to hear from you guys. So I'll see you on Thursday. I will be on Thursday, and it's the day before Christmas is on Saturday, I believe. And for videos for the members, the videos will be up on Monday for both levels. I'm not going to do a live stream because it's Christmas on the day I was supposed to do it. So I will do videos, and then I will post it in the members page, and also on the Patreon that I started for everyone that couldn't find it on YouTube. So the same content will be on Patreon as YouTube. So if I don't see you, have a blessed Christmas. Take care of yourselves and your family. Enjoy the day and make the best of what you have. So have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.